Hey, and welcome back to Life Unscripted podcast, and Happy New Year!
Woo!
This is our first podcast of 2025. We're a few days in at the moment, and we thought this podcast we'd reflect back on the year past, so 2024, and then we'd talk about the year ahead, so 2025, and just go back and forth a little bit about some lessons, how we've been feeling about the past year, and what we're hoping to take forward into the year ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was thinking about this the other day, one thing that kept popping into my head was the script, obviously. Something we speak about on a weekly basis here at the Life Unscripted podcast. So, basically, I'll say but first, the script for anyone that's
New. Hi.
anyone that's new is that it's basically the negative voice inside your head. That is what it is. It's negative voice inside your head, and we've just given it a name, which is the script. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking about reflecting back on 2025. It's 2024, sorry.
I didn't even bat an eyelid when you said that.
Reflecting back.
Yeah. Where are we? You know that time in between Christmas and New Year, and then you're about to go back to work, and you don't know where you are, what day it is, you're still in holiday brain. That's where I'm at.
This is Chris and Sarah from the future. 2025, end of. You're in grave danger, and the world needs you. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so no more funny business, right? We're talking about the script. What was I saying? Oh
my God.
Thinking about the script, right? And thinking back on 2024.
Well done.
Why does it feel, or looking back through the eyes of the script, it only ever sees all the mistakes I made, all the places, all the places I went wrong,
failed.
And that's the funny thing. It's like whether you could even say this, if a situation's like objectively good or bad, if that's even something that you could say. I don't think whether a situation is objectively good or bad, it changes so much how you perceive it when you look at it through the eyes of the script versus the eyes of the real me.
Mm-hmm.
But then it got me thinking to why does the script always feel as bad as it always has? Whenever I end up back in the script, like, why is it feeling as bad as it always does? And that's really because the script never changes. Like, the things that the script's plagued me about, for my whole life, even though I've only known about the script for a few years, it was still plaguing me prior to that. I just didn't know that it was the script plaguing me. Why does it feel as bad as it always ever did? And it's just because the script's a caveman or woman at the end of the day. Like, it just never evolves. It never changes. I evolve and I evolve and change, but the script never does.
And I guess that's why as well people end up in the same circle of not completing their New Year's resolutions or goals. And they always wonder why can I never get past that point of I'm not saying that you don't ever succeed. I'm also speaking as myself here in this boat where I might set myself a couple of goals or even just belief systems and I don't achieve it. I'm doing the same thing year in, year out, but it's a script.
Yeah, I think we were speaking about this just before the podcast as well today. I think it's a mistake I made for a long time. A mistake I didn't actually know I was making until I knew I was making it. And that was, you don't know what you don't know. And that was always going at it from like I posted about this the other day on Instagram as well. It's like going at it from like a do and then have and then be. Be meaning like feeling the way I want, being there, feeling enough. I always thought if I did, then I could have, and then I would be that. And it just never worked. And I feel like when I look around at all these really successful people who are doing a lot, it's not really working for them either, as far as I can tell from the outside looking in. And all I changed was I just started with the be. I just moved the be from the end to the start. And then moved, that's all I did.
The be being your self-worth, for example, believing.
Yeah, like I just said there, it's just you feeling the way you want to feel and showing up as the real you.
And not doing the actions like drinking your lemon water and doing your yoga every morning or doing your manifestations or whatever it being. I didn't mean to use that word there, but you know what I mean? Doing all those actions to create that self-identity, that isn't going to work.
Well, it didn't work for me.
And I don't think it's working for me, but I think it's that fact that you're doing all the actions to try and get you somewhere, and then you're still feeling rubbish, and you're like, why can I not get there? But I think it's because I'm coming at it from the outside in when we need to go in, then out.
Exactly. I think I was just trying to appease the script for a long time, and the script is unappeasable.
But I think it's starting to believe that you are worth it, or whatever it may be that you're struggling with, that you're enough as you are right now. And it's that way people are saying, new year, new you. And I'm like, why not new year, real me? Like, this is what I'm trying to get out of it, not trying to create a brand new Sarah, but I want just to be myself and to show up as myself every single day instead of like having this internal battle every single day, because I'm exhausted, guys. I can't do this anymore.
I guess from the outside it feels like a brand new Sarah, but really it's just like the real Sarah.
Yeah, so I think it's a good way of, I know the do, be, have, I might be saying that in the wrong order.
Be, do, have.
But just trying to explain what the be really means. It's just starting from an internal setup instead of...
It's like an inside-out job.
Yeah, because it's not going to work otherwise. You're just going to be doing all these actions and challenges and diets and whatever, and you're going to end up with the same result.
You know what's funny about when we're talking, listening to you talk there, because I feel like this is true for me, and it may be true for you too. When I'm talking, and it almost feels like I'm giving advice, which I may well be doing, I think 9 times out of 10, I'm trying to get... telling myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really, I'm trying to tell myself something. I'm just like, maybe other people need to hear this too. Yeah. So I'm going to say it as if it's advice, but really it's like, it's like a mirror. I'm like trying to give myself advice.
Yeah. Really. And at the end of the day, we're not perfect. And I think we actually spoke about this just before we came on, because we've been off for a couple of weeks as well. So I think even our own self-check-ins about the script and our communication about it, we haven't really been speaking about it. No, and I do think, not that I've been spiraling, but we're not in routine. Things are different. Like, you go to work, you work out, you come home, you do your food shop at the weekend. We haven't been in a regular structure, and I thrive off of a routine. So I feel like, because I've been had slower days, which I think you need to rest and recoup. I think my brain hasn't been the best. My mental fitness hasn't been top notch because we haven't had these ongoing conversations. But I think something that's really important to remember is that we're not perfect. Maybe we are going to provide a bit of a guiding light for people, but we're not like the guru of the script. We're people trying to navigate our own lives as young adults, trying to figure out this next stage of our lives day in, day out. And we're here to try and be like relatable to each other, to be like, totally. I'm talking here, saying all these things, and I feel like a fraud. And you literally just said, because I'm feeling the things that I'm feeling about not being worthy and whatever, that I am still validated to be here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting here being like, I can't talk about this stuff.
What I would say, Sarah was just speaking about some struggles she was having and how she was feeling like a bit of a fraud and all that. And I was saying that very stuff, talking about that, is what like validates you to be on the podcast. Like, your resume is your life experience. And just because that's all I'm really attempting to do here. I'm just like sharing what's going on inside and sharing my story and what's worked for me. And that's what validates me to be here, and it's the same thing that's validating you to be. The script's like, this invalidates you to be here. The fact that you're not perfect and not feeling good sometimes, that invalidates you. But I'm saying that's actually what validates you, because it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay just to be a human being and just have some shit days sometimes. The important breakthrough I had is that a shit day doesn't mean that I'm shit. And
the thing that's saying to me that I can feel like I'm a fraud sitting here, it's a script.
Yeah.
I need to remember that's not me, and it shouldn't determine my self-worth for sitting on the sofa talking to you and talking to other people about the script. I'm here because I'm trying to figure this funny little thing out all together in the same boat. And I think building community around that is more powerful than me sitting here being like, I am the best, I know what I'm doing, I have got my life sorted out. Because who does? I'm sorry. Whether you're 60 or 70 or 25 or 19, I don't think anyone has got it figured out. And I think everybody's just trying to muddle their way through and figure things out as it goes. Because it's that way, like, our parents are doing life for the first time just as we are. We're just at different stages. Yeah. And whether they have a bit more life experience than us is one thing. But they're trying to figure out their 60s and 50s as we are trying to figure out our 30s. And it's all the same boat. And I really do think there's hope and power within that. But anyway, let's reflect on last year.
Well, I mean, that's what we're doing now, I suppose. We are reflecting on it. Yeah, I think last year has been great. That's what I mean. I just, if I look at it through the lens of the real me, even the stuff that was challenging and tough, it's just like...
Why we could sit here for days saying, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad.
Totally. But the stuff that was, that's what I say, like challenging or not great. When I look back through the lens of the real me, it's like lessons and growth that I can take forward. It's like, it's like, made me, like, those scars and stuff have made me stronger. It's not something I need to look back on and be like, I've been a failure. It's like it's strengthened me and evolved me moving forward. But I think I mean, largely it's been a great year. Like it feels like you know, the scripts in my head, it's like I was just the same as it always was. It's just like same shit, different day type like rhetoric that the scripts sell me at the moment. But reflecting back on the year, I think the most important lesson I think I'll take forward that we're speaking. We had quite a long conversation before the podcast, so we may
We should have filmed it.
we may say several times we were speaking of this for the podcast, but and this kind of builds on what you were saying before. I think it's so important that I have other people around me who are like talking about this very thing that we're talking about, because Sarah did say this before the podcast. Just before the podcast, we were talking about this.
What's that thing? Take a shot every time we say this.
Yeah. That, since we started doing the podcast, we've not been speaking about this as much together. And we haven't. And I think if we were going to make any resolution, or if I was going to make any resolution, I think it would be just like, for example, actually sitting and having dinner together and not watching the TV and spending time just talking to each other. It doesn't necessarily need to be about this, but just I think being in each other's company and actually talking and not being on our phones, I think will be really, really beneficial. Because thinking back to the previous year, I think one thing that I wasn't doing as much that I really want to be doing more is just basically standing at becoming a creator of what it is that I want to get out of things. So it's like speaking about that sausage machine, which I may have spoke about before. I can't remember, but
yeah, you mentioned the sausage machine.
10 episodes deep now. It's all just a big blur. Memory's not great. But yeah, I have spoken about it before. So you're trying to get a beef sausage and you're putting in chicken and you're wondering why chicken sausages are coming out. Or you're trying to get a pork sausage and you're putting in beef and you wonder why beef's coming out. So I think that's as true for like feelings as well. So I want to feel deserving, for example, because I think there was a few areas in my life where I wasn't feeling necessarily deserving, and I was wondering why I wasn't feeling that way. And then it's like, am I putting deserving in? Am I putting the ingredients of deserving in? No, I'm not. I was putting in the ingredients of like feeling like I'm failing, like I'm never going to be able to succeed at this, like I'm not deserving of it, and then wondering why that's the sausage that I was getting out. And it's just engaging again more of that practice. And I think that's why it's so important to have people you're speaking to about this, because I don't think you can do it on your own. I think it's a saying I literally just read to you, which is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that's as true here as it is in most places. And that's just that I want to have other people around me who are having those discussions with me and just reminding me of that, reminding me of what I want to be putting in. And be like, if I'm not getting it out, kindly remind me that, well, you're not putting in those things. Why would you be getting it out? And I think it's just going forward, it's in some areas of my life to be more of a creator, because it's just like creator versus waiter. The creator is putting the ingredients in, and then lo and behold, they're getting the ingredients out that they want, or the sausages out that they want. The waiter is also putting ingredients in, but they're not putting in the ingredients that is going to create the sausage that they want. So they're waiting on a success sausage, but they're not putting a success sausage in. And then they wonder why, like, regret or despair sausage comes out, because that's what they're putting in. So I think it's spending more time at that end of the sausage machine. And referring back to what we said earlier in this podcast about this, like, not trying to do it to appease the script, because the script's never going to be appeased. So it's like understanding that A, I need to be a creator, and B, there's this entity that's never going to think it's a good idea, and it's never going to be appeased by anything that I'm doing. And I think those two things together is really what I'm taking forward into the new year.
And I think that point that you're saying about doing it together can be a strength and not a hindrance.
Oh,
I think there's maybe more personally, but I feel like other people could resonate in the fact that they want to feel like they can do it themselves. There's a lot of talk about whenever you meet somebody and you enter a relationship that you need to like have your self-worth all figured out, that you're not going to be able to attract the right type of person and all that. And I do believe that the first time I met you, I was like, well, we're just going to be friends. Like, why would he want to date me? I went through...
This was on our first date, by the way. This is when she's feeling this.
I went through a period of time in which I thought you were going to leave me, because I was like, why on earth would I be so lucky to meet someone who would want to be with me? And I worked through quite a bit of that, and the fact that the anxiety I had that you weren't just going to get up and leave one day. Like, I do believe that I am worthy of this relationship. However, I do feel like I need to be my independent soul, and so do you. And then we come together and we are codependent. Is that the right way of saying it?
Interdependent?
That's it. Interdependent. Yeah, not codependent. I don't need to rely my whole life on you. And it's that way of like, I don't like need you, but I want you in my life. But I do agree in times of script attacks, or they're coming in fierce and you can't get yourself out. There's been so many times I've wanted to ask you for help, but I feel like I can't. Because the script is saying to me that you need to be your own individual person, or else he's going to leave you. He's not going to find you attractive because you need him. Like, you need help from him.
Yeah.
But you saying that working together in this regard of like, can you please just wake me up and say, get up off the sofa or go out for a walk for 5 minutes, you'll feel better. Instead of just wallowing away in the script and spiraling out of control. But the amount of times that the script has said, you can't ask him for help because he's just going to think like, you're this little needy girlfriend that always needs him. You need to be strong. You need to be independent. You need to do your own thing for him to still be attracted to you. Like, it's a crazy script, and it adds to the whole like ever flowing, like spiraling downward into the sewer of no hope. And I'm just like, I just need to speak to you and be like, can you please help me? Like, I really need your help.
I guess that's the thing. Like, I think you are strong and independent, but you're also a human. So you're just going to have bad days sometimes.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel strong or independent, which is totally fine. I just think, I've always thought, like, humans evolved in tribes. Like, I think humans aren't, like, I just don't think we're designed to go it alone.
Well, that's that way. Like, if you end up on your own, especially whenever you're a bit older, that way of loneliness can effectively kill you. Like, heartbreak can kill you. And that longing of like someone else just to even to touch you, or just that kind of closeness of another human is so important. So I think it's just vital to remember that doing it together isn't a bad thing, especially in a relationship.
I think it's the best thing.
I do too, but it's taken me a wee while to wrap my brain around the fact that me relying on you isn't a bad thing. Because then I'm like, well, what if we did break up? What if then like I need to go out and do it on my own? I'm not going to survive, am I? I'm going to have a day where the script's going to get me on the sofa and I can't get up. And I'm like, I need my boyfriend. And I don't want that. I want to be strong and be like, I want to go to the gym because I want to go to the gym, not because of you or because you're telling me to, or I need to do it for our relationship. I want to do it because I want to do it. But to try and find that urge is a difficulty for me, because I feel like my self-worth and believing that I'm worthy to go to the gym and move my body is way down the order of things that I want to do for myself. But that's a whole big script issue. But
I guess it's just come back to that end of the sausage machine again, and understanding the script won't like it either.
Yeah.
You're the same as me. Because I also feel like I should be able to do it alone. Like, obviously the script's like, you should be able to figure this out by yourself. But it just doesn't work. Like, the best breakthroughs I've ever had have largely been when I've been like, one thing I did last year, I'm reflecting back on the previous year, was, so I did broadband consciousness, the course. I went back maybe 2 or 3 years later and did the coaching course. And then I got invited to be part of kind of like the leadership program they do, which is, again, it's just an opportunity for people who have done the coaching course, who are actively trying to share this, to get together and just bounce off each other. That's all we're really doing. We're just bouncing off each other with a bunch of people who essentially believe the same thing and want to really help the world with this thing that we've discovered that's really helped us. We just get together and we bounce off each other a couple of times a year. And I realized how much amazing breakthroughs I had from doing that. And we're all on a WhatsApp group chat together, so we can have like ongoing communications. And it's just been incredible. And after I did it, I just felt that the word I've used is light. I just felt so light, and I felt like so much myself just being in a group of people who also, believe what I believe in that regard and understand what the script is and know that it's not them and they know that it's not me, and all of us bouncing ideas off each other about like, how do we just make the world a better place, essentially, just left me feeling so light and so much like the real me, that it just really validated how important it is to have other people around me to help me make this work and make, not just make it work, like help me show up as the real me, to then just be the real me, but then give that back to other people and help them. Than people who were struggling in maybe the ways I was struggling.
Yeah, I even remember when you came back from the leadership course and you were as light as a feather.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
It was literally like you came in and there was like a little aura bubble around you, and it was like euphoria around you as you came in. It was absolutely inspiring, and it even made me like, I think I was actually sitting on the sofa and you came in. It was like late at night and I think I was tired, long week, all that nonsense. And I was like, oh. And then you came in, you're like, hi. And I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
And it's that way, like, my script is up high, that wall is up. I'm like, oh no, he's going to come in and try and break that wee script wall down. But then after a few conversations, it's that way, like, your energy was inspiring for me and the script just dissolved away. And it's so powerful.
You know, the fact you said wall there is so funny, because when we first went to the leadership program, like, the script, so we go for, it's 2 days we were there. We were down in Northampton for 2 days. And that's exactly how I felt when I got there. I felt like the script's walls went up, and then that first day, it was like going up and down. I was feeling like me, I was not. The script was getting me. And then when I woke up on the second day, it's like it totally dissolved. And then obviously by the third day when I was leaving, it continued to be totally dissolved. And I just felt so light, and it just felt so right to feel that way. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I think that's the
real you coming through.
It was. And I think that's why I'm saying, as much as I'm saying about the standing at the right end of the sausage machine and stuff, I also, we were doing a bunch of tongue twisters before this as well. She sells seashells on the seashore. And
you can't say sausage machine though.
Sausage machine. I think, I've totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think that's why it's so important that I have other people around me. In this case, you.
Thanks.
And any of the audience that wants to get involved. To have those people around me who also feel similar, and we can bounce off of each other and help everyone feel much lighter. Because to be honest, when I felt like that, all I really wanted was for other people to be able to feel like that too, because it felt so good. Yeah. Like, that's how I felt, which only made me feel lighter. I just wanted other people to be able to feel that way too, especially when I listened to people and they were struggling like how I've been struggling in the past. And I'm like, I was there, and
like, you have not the answer, but you've got it. You can.
Well, because I went through a similar journey to them. I'm like, I did it, so I know they can do it too, and I want to help encourage someone on that journey. Just simply because I did it, and I'm like, if I did it, you can do it. It's like I've not got any like special gift that's allowed me to do this. It's like no gift that you yourself also don't have, you know. So yeah, reflecting back on that was such a monumental part of my year for sure. That it's definitely taken the center point right now of when I'm thinking back to the year of big things that happened. That was definitely one of them for sure for me.
Any smaller wee bits that you can maybe remember? I know your memory is not the best.
My memory. So
he's like a wee goldfish.
Whenever obviously I was at uni for 4 years with several. I lived with 5 people. Well, the first year I lived with 14 people, and then we split into 4 people. Kind of went their own way, and we split into 2 groups of 5. So then for the preceding 3 years, I lived with 5 people. This is why am I saying all this for this like small, minute point about this?
Like no one cares.
Drawing out this bloody story. Anyway, what I was trying to say with those like 7 sentences of waffle was, whenever we get together and I'm reminded of all this stuff that happened, when someone else tells me, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. But it's like, I'm remembering like 1% of what went on, and which it's good to have the other people around me. But I feel like I keep saying to myself, I should really take up journaling so I can like remind myself of what's happened in my life, because I forget so much of it.
Well, I say that because you did have your 30th birthday last year.
I did have my 30th birthday. There you go.
And
all I needed is someone else to remind me. I had my 30th birthday, yes.
And I know that can be it is a major milestone, but a lot of people put a lot of scripty attachments to it. I mean, I'm probably coming from a woman point of view, but it's that'll be like your biological clock is like starting to tick. People are like getting married and are already engaged, and people have their career at a certain point. I'm not saying that's the way it goes, by the way. I don't believe in that. I believe everybody's on their own path and their own journey. And it was actually quite inspiring watching you turn 30. Because it felt like it was just turning 30, like any other birthday, and it was magical, and we had so much fun. And we did like a wee surprise party, and we had
parties.
We had our friends over, and then we went over and
twice.
did another thing with your family. And honestly, like it wasn't even my birthday. It felt like my birthday too, though. But I think because you just went in and it was just a birthday. It was so fun, and everybody around you loves you so much, and all the love was there. It was honestly, I want to ever put that feeling in a bottle and keep it forever. That feeling was just amazing. But I think watching you have your 30th made me think, I need to stop putting so much pressure on myself. Like, I don't need to achieve a certain thing by the time I'm 30. Like, it's a birthday, you're turning 30. Doesn't matter if you achieve something at 30. Achieve something at 30, or whether it be 40, 50 or whatever. And I just loved it. So that was my reflection on your year. But anyway.
Thank you for your commentary on my year. No, you were there too. It's as much a memory for you as it is for me. Like Sarah organised it, and then you were there the entire time. Like so, it's as much as your memories as mine. I think, yeah, I have completely denounced the age script.
Well, that's what I mean. I think even the fact that for you turning 30 wasn't even part of a list of things that happened last year. I know your memory isn't the best, but it wasn't like I turned 30 this year, guys. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I did turn 30 this year.
But it's a good thing, and it doesn't
No,
I think it's like from your physicality as well and your fitness and all that. Like you don't see aging as a bad thing.
Yeah, the script does, but it's just like there's so much. I actually feel it's kind of funny. I feel like now that I'm 30, the only thing I'm like age-wise, I'm like, this is really positive. I feel I'm now old enough
to be who I am.
Not. Well, I feel like
wait till I'm 70, guys.
No, I just feel like I finally reached like an age where I could I'm sure if you ask someone who's like 60, they'd be like, yeah, you're still very young, so shut up with what you're saying now. I just feel like in my own head, I'm like 30 is the age where I'm now old enough to be like, age isn't a thing. Like I find like when they're like 21, you're like, age isn't a thing. People are like, shut up. I feel like now that
Therefore, I'm still a child.
People will probably still tell me to shut up when I'm saying this, or like I say 60. I just feel like now that I'm 30, I'm be like, age doesn't matter. They're like, shut up, you don't know
like
nothing.
You're wise now. You can be wise and mature.
Not necessarily wise. Just I feel like I'm old enough now to have a seat at the
table.
We're old people, so let's talk about old people things table. And I'm here to say that the age script. I've denounced the age script. Anything. Yeah, I've just denounced all the paradigms around, all the negative paradigms around aging that are like just made up in people's heads.
Yeah, 100%.
I've denounced all that. So yes, it was my 30th this year, which was very, very fun. I loved it. Thank you so much for organising it, and everyone else that contributed.
Shout out.
Sarah actually made a video of many of my close friends and just people in my life who all wished me happy birthday, which was really nice.
But I think actually that just reminded me, I don't know if this probably is the script, but you're not very good at taking in what's happening.
Right, this is
whether
definitely the
to
script.
be compliments, your competition that you won. I can literally visually see it on you that I'm like, he's not taking in any of this. Like all this love, and you could feel the love. Like the energy was like amazing. It was incredible. Yeah. But I was like, he's sitting there, being like, oh wow, I don't really know what's happening.
You know, that's definitely something that the script gets me on. Those are the two big moments I was thinking of. But there's probably small moments too, but the two big moments you definitely, and it comes back to, I think that's why. So I know I've just went off on a tangent here, like mid-sentence. That's why I think it's so important. I want to put deserving in this year because I am deserving of those things.
You are.
The two big moments is that when I won the McGregor Stonelifting Games, and then during my 30th birthday, I feel internally quite emotional, and I feel like I'm quite a sensitive person, and I am quite an emotional person, but I feel like in those moments the script can get me a little bit, and then it can appear like I'm rather stoic about the situation, which couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
I'm like overflowing and overwhelmed with like positive emotions and love in those moments, and I really I'm not able to cry in those moments, which is ultimately what I'd want to be doing, because that's just what happens when you get overwhelmed with emotion, good or bad, right? You end up crying. And it was good in both those moments. Like I just won a competition, which was awesome. I won a strength competition, which I didn't think would ever be possible for me, just because I just started very weak in the gym, and I just thought I was just a very weak person physically, because I'd started so weak. So to win a strength competition was incredible. And then I remember just thinking back to getting Jamie, the organizer, giving me the gold trophy, and which is a really cool trophy, which is over there, and just not being able to take it in and not being able to like.
I could see it
properly like express my emotion in the moment. And then again, I had my 30th birthday, like there was so much love and so many things happened that were like, I was so overwhelmed with emotion in a really good way that I was like, but the script got me, and then I was like, I got stuck in my head and I couldn't like express it. Mm-hmm. So I think, because I really want to express it and be able to cry and really be like emotional in those moments. So I think putting deserving of that stuff into the sausage machine this year is something that I'm going to really make at the forefront of one of my resolutions, I suppose, to take forward, because I think just being able to really experience, like, because after the moment, I've definitely, like I can retroactively like be very emotional and really allow myself to experience that emotion after the fact because it was real. And like you say, I can just keep it in the bottle and experience it whenever I want. But it would be nice to be able to experience it in the moment. So I think putting more deserving around those things is something I'd like to take forward.
100%. Because you are deserving of it.
Thank you. I feel like this is like all about me, this episode. So
I'm enjoying it. I love it. I know it was our year as well. I mean, I was.
I guess it was my 30th.
Well.
Oh, you were. It was my
30th birthday too.
My 30th. Is there anything you would like to reflect on from the year past?
Well, I think
it's not my 30th birthday.
Well, it was the highlight for my year too. Genuinely, it was. But I think as you said,
was a highlight of my year too. I feel like it was actually incredible.
Don't let a script come in. I'm joking.
No, my memory can just
it's rubbish,
fail
guys.
me sometimes. Yeah, I lose my train of thought on the podcast. Even like when I'm trying to think what I was speaking about like 2 minutes ago.
He's a goldfish.
Like crap. What was I speaking about? I've forgotten. Yeah, I'm a goldfish.
It's okay, it's endearing. It just makes him oblivious. It's really good to do a surprise party.
Oh. Like
no clue whatsoever. I had a barbecue hidden out in the back garden for like 5 days and no idea.
Even just Ryan and Stuart took me out. We went out for some beers. While Sarah had to get the house ready and get everyone in to surprise me. And their account was, we were acting weird, and I was just oblivious. I didn't even notice. They were trying because. The three of us can talk forever, but I guess when you know you have to you have to talk to someone and keep them there for several hours, it's like, shit, I have to now perform. Whereas on any normal day, that would be no problem. So I think from their perspective, it was like, oh my God, we're acting weird and we don't know what to say and we're just talking about nonsense. But
you're like, that's just
from my perspective, I'm like, we act weird and just talk about nonsense anyway. So it's like, I didn't even notice.
I know. So I guess looking back, it's that way that you're sort of saying that I could look at it from a very scripty angle, but I don't want to. So I think all in all, it was an incredible year as ever. I think from our relationship point of view, I loved it.
Ooh.
I think each year I'm like, why am I starting to get emotional? But I think each year that I'm with you, I think it just gets better and better.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that we work on and we talk about, and I think even like the conversation that we had before the podcast, and checking in regularly, like we felt like we lost that a little bit and we need to like keep on top of that. And again, I'm not saying that we're perfect. I just love ever evolving and growing with you each year. And I think each year it just gets better and better.
It's pretty good. It's all right.
It's fun.
It's all right.
And not to make it all about you, but I did love your 30th birthday. And also we had our first trip away together alone.
Oh, we did that as well. Oh my God, yeah.
Big year, guys.
God.
So yes, I surprised Chris for his 30th birthday trip to Lisbon. So again, I have a lot of anxiety and scriptiness around traveling and being on time and itineraries. Yep. I want it all to be absolutely perfect. And a big thing in my head was like, we need to come away from this trip together. I don't want you to want to break up with me. And that was a massive thing in my head, being like, just go.
Sneaking in again.
I was like, I want to go and enjoy this trip and have fun and just love life. And it doesn't matter if we don't have an exact plan, if things change or whatever. And we had the most incredible time. It was so fun.
Because we had an experience where did we go to Bristol this year?
Yes, I think so.
It's another thing that happened this year. We went to Bristol.
Well, 30th birthdays this year.
Went to Bristol for my friend Mark's 30th birthday, who lives in Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was fun too.
It was really fun. It was awesome. However, I made a little boo-boo on the sat nav. We booked into one of those park your car overnight places while you're away.
Car park.
Overnight car parks. Or the car when you go away on holiday. The long stay ones, and I can't remember what it was called. It's called
not important.
Yeah, it's called Sarah Park, right? And I put it into the sat nav. Oh, there it is. It's in Glasgow, so I just clicked on it, only to find out.
Glasgow Airport, bear in mind, is not at the city centre.
It's not, but because I didn't look at exactly where it was taking us in Glasgow, I just saw that it was taking us on the road to Glasgow. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Then I found out there's actually this company has several locations, so it's got like Sarah Park City Centre, Sarah Park, like Finiston, so wherever. It has several locations of car parks. So we're driving and Sarah's like, we're in the city centre.
It's 2 minutes away from destination. And I'm like,
this is when you become too reliant on a sat nav. I was just like oblivious. I was like, yeah, the sat nav's telling me to go this way.
We're getting an early flight. Our flight's like at 7 a.m. So it's like we're trying to allow enough time so we don't have to get up at the crack of dawn. So we allow like an hour and a half instead of the full 2 hours. So we're already tight on schedule.
Yeah, we were trying to. Yeah. Anyway, we end up getting there late. No, we end up...
We're 20 minutes behind schedule,
20 minutes
guys.
behind schedule, and we actually in the car, we were like, maybe let's just not talk.
I was having an internal panic attack, being like, we're going to miss our flight. We're not going to get through security in enough time. And Chris is then also panicking at the fact that
I've gone the wrong way.
To go the wrong way when we're driving. And the script gets every time he uses a sat nav, he goes the wrong way. But it's okay. We're learning. It's fine.
Anyway,
in that moment,
I'm getting better, I think.
You were freaking out, being like, I've just effed up again. And I'm there, like, we're going to miss our flight. We're going to miss our flight. We couldn't talk to each other.
It's not that we decided that
it's not the best.
Let's just put the music on and not talk. Anyway, we get there. And this is, I think having a bit of a plan and not just being too willy-nilly about it's a really good idea. Because then with Bristol, we were a bit more structured about it.
Yeah.
And because we were a bit more structured about it, the drive there, even if I'd gone the wrong way, which I didn't this time, but even if I had, we had plenty of time.
Yeah.
And we got to the airport and there was no trying to rush through security because we're like 20 minutes behind schedule, like we were in Bristol. We got there, it was nice and easy. We just chilled out, we got on the plane, it was great. And I think what I'm saying, I think having that balance is, we definitely, I think, level each other out like that. Yeah,
you calm me down and I bring you up. A little bit.
Yes,
if we
exactly.
need to.
Slow you down, you like speed me up a wee bit. I think
what was really important in that moment when we were both freaking out in the script, we were fully script. Neither of us were present. It was just the script.
Totally.
I think what's really important and powerful in that moment is the fact that we said we can't talk. It's not a good idea. Our scripts are going to come out. And because we know about the script, we knew it wasn't us. We knew we were going to calm down. We knew that we love each other. It wasn't important. We just needed a minute just to fizzle out.
We just had to get through security. And all would be fine.
I was in security, dripping with sweat, looking at him, like looking at the clock, looking at him, looking at the clock. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it.
There's this, we were standing, the queue ended up being quite big for security. And this one was behind us, being like, I'm late for my flight. Can I get through quick? And I was just like, right, we need through. So anyway.
We're like, she's really late.
He probably was. We were not that late. She was probably really,
I think
really
I'm probably making the situation worse because if I'm like on time, I feel like I'm late.
Which I also don't think is a bad quality.
No, but there is a balance to be had.
I think there's a balance to be had only in the sense that showing up 5-10 minutes early is a good idea, but you don't have to be like panicking about it if that doesn't turn out.
But again, it's a good balance between us. It's just because we both got a script attack at the same time, but we knew it wasn't us. Yeah, totally. And we were able to come out of it perfectly fine.
Anyway, we were recounting Lisbon, your year.
Yes, so Lisbon was a complete highlight. I think also from like a work point of view, I think I had a lot of challenges. Mm-hmm. And I guess it comes back to that feeling of deserving. I don't think I'm feeling very deserving of many things, especially at the moment. Don't know why. It's probably just the script again.
It's definitely the script.
But it's, I think the things that happened with my work journey and becoming more of a manager, there was a lot of things and barriers I had to like knuckle down to. And I do think, this is me saying, I don't think I'm deserving. But by the end, I progressed and I came further than I did at the start of the year. So I think I should be very proud of that. No, I should be proud of that. And I think all in all, it was just a fun year. And I think you kind of forget the small things that happen and you've got bigger highlights and whatever. But I feel so grateful to be where I am in my life and to be with you. And we've got friends and family around us that love us. Like, I think you can forget, even if you don't have a monumental year, if you move somewhere, if you got a new job or if you had a baby or like got married, like even if you don't have big eventful things happening in your life, I think it's important to remember to be grateful for what you do have and that you had a year.
And it's funny what you say there though, because you're like, that's what I think looking back through that scripty lens. Because see, even if you have
nothing happened, it was the same year.
or it all went to shit. I think when you look at it through the scripty lens, it doesn't matter. Maybe you've had a really conscious year where a lot of amazing things happened. But that's why I was saying it doesn't matter if the things that have happened are like objectively good or bad. Because for me, even if like you've just recounted all these incredible things that have happened, which we were both there for, or I was not the leadership thing, but all the things we were there for, and then the leadership and the other things that happened to me were all incredible. However, if I sit now, well, now I'm feeling good, so maybe not now, but when I'm not feeling good and I look back through the scripty lens, it forgets all that. Like I said in previous episodes, it deletes, it distorts, and it generalizes everything that happened. And it's like a lawyer that's like trying to make you guilty when you're otherwise innocent. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it builds this case against you that it was actually crap. So it doesn't matter that I'm looking back at a situation, like, it doesn't matter what I'm looking back at. When I look back through that scripty lens, I could have had the most fun and conscious year ever, and then it's still able to make it crap.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like I said at the start, it's a caveman.
Yeah.
Or a woman. And it just always is going to feel like how it feels. Even it doesn't matter what actually happened, it's still going to delete, distort, generalize, and like, because I've mentioned before, I've got a big script around like like I had a lot of social anxiety and communication. I could have the best month of communication, and they'll have like this 5-minute conversation that's like, for whatever reason, hasn't gone well, and then the script's able to blow that up into the entire month.
Yeah.
Because that's just what it does. And it's a lawyer that can build a really strong case against you, even when there's not a lot of evidence.
But even sitting here trying to pick out the moments that I thought were absolute highlights, I can tell you very, very quickly things that did not go well. But I'm choosing not to talk about them because I don't want to give it the time and energy.
Totally.
However, I do believe, so I did hurt my knee at the start of the year, and then I would also hurt my back a little bit throughout the year as well. And I do feel like it had an impact on my exercise and my training, and my, I guess, love for exercise. I wasn't enjoying how my body was feeling, and I felt really, really weak. And I also felt the year before I was training for a competition, I felt really strong. I'd lost a little bit of weight. The comparisons between the 2 years were insane. So, however, that wasn't great, but I'm deciding to take the point of view that I learned a lot from that.
Totally. I think that's the positive thing.
Even though I did hurt my knee and I hurt my back, the thing that I did do was that I stopped training. Now, looking back, I shouldn't have done that. I should have listened to the PT over here and done everything I could that didn't aggravate the sore element. So I should have, I stopped running because I wanted to do a couch to 5K. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't want to do this because my knee's sore. And then I just sat on the sofa for a few weeks and didn't exercise much, and I didn't feel great. And then I tried to get back to it, and it was harder. But my knee was then sore for a few months, and my back isn't so fully 100% because I think I've lost the strength that I did gain the previous year. However, the lesson I'm learning from it is that just exercise and keep moving, whether it be light and it doesn't aggravate the sore bit, and you'll still keep the strength of some regard.
I think it may be tricky, like in your case, when which is why I think talking to someone about it can be really beneficial. But you had your heart set on running, and then when running fell to the wayside because of your knee, it can be hard to then be like, oh, I don't want to do the other options. But then it's at the end of the day, I think it is worthwhile still finding other options and committing to the lifelong pursuit of just being stronger and fitter and healthier. And you're going to have roadblocks along the way, so you got to remain flexible.
Yeah.
And it's like understanding that working towards a specific goal, like a competition or like a couch to 5K or a specific diet, they give the journey flavor, but they're not this like thing you're trying to speed run to get to a destination that you then just, it's like those, there is no really any end destination. It's just something you're going to do forever. And that there's going to be things that happen that give that journey different flavors, some good, maybe some not so good, or some that you learn a lot of lessons from. And it's just understanding that, like, committing now that I'm on this journey no matter what happens, and I'll just remain flexible. You know, not get too tied to I'm running now, so that's all I want to do. Like, especially when you have a lot of fun doing it, because I think you started to have a bit of fun with the idea of it and doing it, but it's just trying to stay flexible with the fact that, oh, I've hurt my knee, but I want to stay fit and strong and healthy, so I'm going to find something else to do. And
I think that was the issue, that I had the wrong identity around it, and I was going in, again, not feeling deserving that I should be able just to move my body and have fun with it. But I was going in from the point of view that I have this challenge I want to complete. However, I think subconsciously, or the back of my head, I was like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to look the best ever. It's completely wrong. I shouldn't have done it that way. I should have had the point of view of that I'm great as I am. I shouldn't have to, doesn't matter what size I am. I should go do this because I want to go have fun. But I was focusing on the action. It's like how we spoke about at the start of the episode. I was focusing heavily on the action. If I do this, I will be this. And I was like, I just need to be as I am now. And it's
totally.
But again, you're learning from each year, each month, each day. Like, you're taking lessons from what we've not done. Because I do think it's important, the fact that, see, if you're wanting to lose weight and you didn't achieve it, I think it's a massive thing to learn from, the fact, like, you're learning all the 1,000 ways of not to do it. Totally. You will get to the point where you'll figure out, this is it. The penny's dropped and I know what to do now.
Yeah.
So all the things that I didn't succeed at during the year, whether it be my diet or my lifestyle, if it was a work related thing or a communication issue I had, anything that I failed at, instead of the script going in and being like, oh, well, wasn't a great year, was it? I want to take it, hone in on it and be like, well, I've learned all the ways not to do it.
And that's still really useful, because someone ever asks you, I'm like, I haven't quite worked it out yet, but I can tell you all the ways that haven't worked.
Exactly.
I can save you a lot of pain. But I'm keeping an eye on the time, because
blabbing away. My
phone's running out of... I've got a thing on my watch. It might seem like on my watch sometimes. It's because I'm keeping an eye on how much recording time I've got on my phone. So we've not got a lot of time. So we should maybe wrap up pretty soon.
Okay.
I say that now because we're in a very conversational mood right now, and if we start talking about something else, we'll not stop.
Well, shall we summarize and think of we're not doing necessarily resolutions for next year, but like
we've said a few resolutions, to be fair.
Yes, but I'm saying that we're summarizing our resolutions into like 1 or 2 words. It's not like big long sentences, but a big list.
I have 4.
So I mean like singular words.
I see.
We're not doing a sentence.
Per word is 1.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So what are yours?
I got you. Mine are, like I spoke about, it's deserving. There's a big one. Fun, because who doesn't want to have more fun in their life?
Absolutely.
Consistency. And light. I'd like more light. Because like I spoke, I'm feeling that way. The only word I could describe it really accurately was light. And I want to feel like that more because it was so awesome. I want to help other people feel like that more. Mm-hmm. So deserving, consistency, light, and fun.
Love it.
Consistency only because the script's like, in certain areas, especially with my business and stuff, the script's like, oh, you're not able to be consistent. So I would just like to prove it wrong. Like how we're being consistent with this podcast.
Yeah, it's just the real you.
Yeah. But also, that's all I have to say. This is what I mean. I was like,
tangents will come in.
You go.
I would say deserving, also not to steal yours, but I do think deserving is a massive one for me. Self-belief. These all might be like parallels of each other, but I think they're all have their own right to be there. So deserving, self-belief, confidence in all regards of life. Mm-hmm. And I think those 3 are for me. Fun, nice. Of course.
Of course, fun.
But I am fun. I identify as fun.
No, you are.
No, self-belief, deserving, confidence. I think if I could even open the door, knock down that little brick a little bit for at least one of those, I'd be very, very happy.
Just Miley Cyrus wrecking ball it.
Yeah. Here's the goal, but I'll check in next year with you to see if I got it.
Yes, but you won't have to wait a whole year to hear from us again because we will be back next week with another episode. So that's all I've got to say. Yeah,
and I would love it. And
we're running out of time, so
okay.
That's all we both have to say. No, what were you going to say there?
I think just take time for yourself, whether you want to do new resolutions or goals or not. I think just remember how great you are as a person already. And remember, New Year, real me. You don't real me. You don't need to change your whole identity just to become somebody that you're not. I think being your own person is the best thing.
That'll be the name of this podcast, I think.
New Year, real me.
Yes, love that. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you made it this far, see you next week. Bye. Bye.